Good morning and welcome to Rising. We have another terrific show for you today. It's a warm day in the nation's capital.
It is. It's gorgeous.
Get any fresh air this morning?
I thought about walking to work. Is that enough? Does that count?
I did. I took a scooter today for the
Nice.
first time in months. It was very enjoyable.
Nice. Well, I look forward to my walk home. But first, we've got some news for you on the 2024 election front. New Harvard-Harris polling finds former President Trump taking a decisive lead over President Biden in a hypothetical general election matchup. When asked if they would vote for Biden or Trump, should Trump be found guilty of inciting the January 6th Capitol riots, 54% of voters still said they would vote for Trump. Now add Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to the mix, and Trump's lead over Biden grows to 7 points, and Kennedy takes a massive 18% chunk of support away from the top two candidates. Among younger voters, Biden maintains just a 4-point lead, according to a new Axios survey. That's compared to the 20-point advantage he had with the under 35 set in 2020.
Donald Trump may soon receive the coveted endorsement of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Trump and McConnell's teams are in talks, according to reporting in The Hill. Meanwhile, both Trump and Biden will head to the U.S.-Mexico border on Thursday this week amidst debates on The Hill over how to fund customs and border protection. A new Monmouth University poll finding that 53% of voters support building a border wall, which the polling center says is the first time a majority of respondents supported the proposal since it started asking the question in 2015.
Yeah, so the fact that Joe Biden can no longer rely on overwhelming support for young voters is, I think, an underappreciated story. It's one thing for there to be an expectation that, let's say, a generic Republican has about 50% of the youth vote, which even that hasn't been the case since I can remember. But Trump in particular has always been characterized as someone that is so out of touch on a lot of cultural issues that, frankly, younger people who have gay friends and live in a very different cultural world than older generations would never accept. And when you look back to 2016 and 2020 and how the politics around immigration were really core to claims that Donald Trump was a racist, the way that Mexico isn't sitting in their best became a statement that was a stand-in for his broader attitudes toward diversity. It's really, frankly, blowing my mind that he has managed to close the gap with young voters with Joe Biden.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe the media tried to convince people of this, but I'm not sure most people ever actually did believe, I don't believe, that he genuinely harbors animus for LGBT people. He said Caitlyn Jenner can use whatever bathroom she wants. He said, I think he called LGBT people precious when he was like hugging the flag or something. The more credible, obvious accusations against him from the media perspective is the remarks he's made about, SHIT countries and they're not sending their best. It was along racial and immigration lines. On the abortion question, he's proving to be a moderating force in the whole Republican coalition.
Well, let's not overstate that.
As he urges them not to do a national abortion ban.
I think we shouldn't overstate that. I think that he claims credit and deserves credit for appointing the Supreme Court justices that overturned Roe. What he has that other Republicans don't is the sense to understand that it's the kind of political issue that shouldn't be foregrounded in the context of an election cycle. Yeah. That's what he should get credit for.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is he is a temperamentally extreme person. He says a lot of things. He's a performer. He's a character. He behaves in a way that is outside the general norm, but his policies, with some exceptions, are not actually all that out of the ordinary. Certainly his cultural policies or views are not all that out of the ordinary. His foreign policy is, changes depending on what day it is. And his economic policies are frankly pretty standard Republican, maybe to the disappointment of people, of some in the more populist right side who thought they were getting different policies when they supported him. All of that is to say that he's clearly not scaring, the idea that he was just going to scare off some massive category of voters is not necessarily holding true, while at the same time he has lost, suburban, affluent, white women as a category of people he's struggling to lure back to support him in his reelection efforts.
It is worth noting that the New York Times reported about 10 days ago that Trump has been privately expressing support for a 16-week abortion ban, which is not popular. Apparently, it's in an effort to shore up support among social conservatives who...
It's not popular with who? With social conservatives?
No, it is popular with social conservatives. He's trying to shore up support with them by talking privately about a 16-week abortion ban. But again, the insight that Trump seems to have is to understand that there needs to be private conversations. What did Hillary Clinton call it? Inside conversations versus public conversations. And so I do think, perhaps as we get closer to the election, Democrats do seem to have a sense that this is a really motivating issue for voters. And if it becomes clear that, that Trump has those kinds of policies, could enact those kinds of policies and support them, as he's increasingly forced to have not just the friendly interviews he's been willing to take, but to submit to these kinds of questions and debates, I do wonder if younger voters will realize what he really stands for again.
YouGov finds that 48% of people would support a 16-week ban, 36% oppose, and 16% are not sure. So not wildly popular, but honestly kind of mixed. I don't know. Just because that's in keeping with what France has, a 14-week ban, I think. England as well. That's not a very extreme policy by the.
Then I hope he shouts it from the rooftops that Donald Trump supports a 16-week abortion ban.
I guess we'll find out how people feel about it. More Rising right after this.